Okay, so real talk. So you've been doing all the work, right? You've been doing everything you've been told you needed to do to attract clients, but still somehow you are struggling to get those clients. And even when you do find someone who's potentially interested in working with you, or you do get a lead and you pour your heart and your soul into your sales call and your emails or your launch or whatever the thing is that you're doing to generate the sale, they all have the same objection. They love you, they love your stuff, they love your energy, but they just can't afford to hire you. Oh, so frustrating, right? And it's not because you don't know who your ideal clients are. Let's be clear. You have done the work. You have done the research. You've done the homework. You've spent time filling out the ideal client avatar exercises. Okay, side note, you guys, I have a huge issue with ideal client type avatar exercises, but that's a video for another day. But nevertheless, knowing who your ideal clients are, and I mean really, really knowing them, like understanding how they think, understanding what their triggers are, that's obviously going to be your first step to attracting more of those ideal clients, right? But I want to take it one step further today. So here's the deal, and I'm going to be real blunt about this, okay? The kind of clients or potential clients that you are attracting is directly related to the message that you are putting out there, okay? I'm going to say that again, and I say this with love, but the kind of people that you're attracting to work with you or who are interested in working with you is directly related to what you are putting out there. So they're being drawn into your message and what you're putting out there into the world, okay? So if you're attracting people who just can't afford to hire you or just don't want to work with you, that is directly related to the message that you're putting out. So I know that might be hard for you to hear, and I know you might have already known that to some level, and you're probably just thinking, okay, Safia, fine, now just tell me how to fix it already. Okay, cool. And that's exactly what we're gonna do today. So before we dive in, I wanna share with you guys this pillar idea when it comes to your customer journey. So your customer journey, right? It's where your ideal people are, your target market, your avatar, whatever you wanna call it. It's where that potential person is on their journey. And along that journey, there are two major psychological phases or checkpoints, if you will, that your potential prospect, your lead, is going to be on, right? The first is their stuck point. So you've likely heard of this already. It's typically referred to as, this is their pain points. This is their stuck. This is where they're stuck, and it's their pain points. The other area or the other point is what I like to call the action point or the point of desire. So the first is the pain point and the second is the desire points, right? Now, we all know the importance of speaking to the pain points, right? But what I see happening far too often and what so many people get caught up doing is always speaking to the pain points. Constantly putting out content and putting in their brand message and putting in their marketing that they are speaking only or more, emphasizing a lot more what the pain points are. And so many people pour so much time and energy into talking about those pain points and using language around those pain points and focusing so heavily on those pain points that it's no wonder you're attracting people who are still stuck in their pain points, right? And when someone is stuck in that place, they're just not in the mindset or even in the place of like desire to want to invest or to want to really seek out any sort of major change in their life. When they're stuck in their pain points, they're still like kind of wobbling back and forth between what they want. They're still sort of in that place of indecision. They're still sort of in that place of trying to like fix things themselves. And when you're constantly speaking to that point in their journey, you're going to constantly attract people who are not ready to work with you or who aren't willing to pay and get, invest in actually making a change in their life. If you were some version of your ideal clients before, right? Like if you're in a situation that you were stuck in Even if you knew exactly what you needed to do, even if you had a million people giving you advice, even if you read all the books and listened to all the podcasts and knew exactly what you needed to do to make the change, you still weren't taking action because you just were not in that mindset to make change yet, right? You just couldn't see the end of that yet. Or worst off, you just were not open to change. And at that point, therefore, if you're just not open to change, you're not going to be willing and even available for help at that point, right? And coming into or thinking about investing or making any sort of investment, either it's time or money investment towards feeling better or solving your problems when you're at that stuck point, it's likely ranking very low on your values or your priorities when you're in that place, right? Because you are still stuck. So here's a real practical example of it. And this is the way I kind of like to explain it. So I like to think about this as if you are in like the beginning stages of a breakup. So you're going through a breakup and you're in the beginning stages and the wound is still really fresh, right? You're gonna put on those love songs because you want to feel sad, because in some twisted way you still want to feel sad, and you're still stuck in that place. You're gonna eat the ice cream, you're gonna drink the wine, you're gonna look back at the old photos, you're gonna stalk them on social media or whatever you do, because that's that place of still being stuck, right? Even though those things are not helping you, even though that's not what that's not what you need, even though that's not going to help you, get over that person, you're still doing that because you're still stuck and you're not ready to make the change yet. What so many people do in their marketing is that they focus again so much on addressing those pain points, in talking about those pain points, in harping on those pain points over and over and over again in their marketing. So they constantly attract people who are still stuck. They attract those people who are still like sappy and not ready to make a change and still wallowing and still can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? So what I like to do instead, and what I want to invite you to do instead, is to start to shift your marketing message, start to shift your content, start to shift the language that you're using to speak to more of where they are when it comes to the action point or the point of desire. So let's fast forward and let's think about that same breakup scenario, right? This person is ready to date again. This person is gonna get fixed up and put on their makeup and leave the house, and they're starting to feel confident again. They're ready to put themselves out there again. When they are in that place, they're in a place of being ready to take action. Their mindset is different at that place, right? Their motivation is high at that place because they want to turn a new leaf, right? And from that place, they can see the value of investing. They can see the value of getting support and investing, because hell no, do they want to go back to that place, right? And so at that point, the motivation for change is higher, right? When you're coming from the place of desire, the motivation for change is higher. So what a lot of marketers do is that they use pain or the stuck point as the driving motivation in their marketing. And they use the stuck points and the pain to attract clients. And it's the reason why so many people that struggle to actually get clients that can afford them, that's the reason why, is because they're attracting those people who are still at that stuck point. And yes, I am not saying that addressing those pain points are not important. It can be very effective and it does work. But what I have found to be 10 times more effective is when you speak to that place of desire, to that place of the action point, when that person is, the motivation for desire is so high at that point, not only are they going to be more motivated to take action, and not only are they going to be more motivated to actually invest in you and to get support, because again, their desire far outweighs at that point their pain, but they're also the kind of clients that make the best clients. They're easier to work with, they're more fun, they're much more coachable, and they're the people that actually want to make change, and they're willing to roll up their sleeves and do what it takes to actually make change in their life, right? So I want you to do a little bit of an experiment for me here. I want you to like play with your messaging and your content a little bit. And if you're someone who is, finding yourself in that situation where you are putting out content or you're messaging and things like that, and you keep attracting people who just have the same, issue over and over again, is that they love you, they love your stuff, they think you're great, but they just can't afford to hire you, or for whatever reason they don't want to invest in making a change right now, then I want to invite you to make this shift in your messaging. So start to shift your messaging and your content so that you're speaking to that place of action, that place of desire. So I want you to really brainstorm if you were a previous version of your client, for instance, right? I want you to think about, where were you when you were at that place, that action point, right? And what were you highly motivated by at that point, right? When you were ready to take action. And then I want you to start to incorporate that language and that messaging into your content. And even if you were not a version of your ideal client and you've already worked with clients, think about what it was like for you when they came to you, maybe at a place of stuckness, and when you got them to that action point, where were they at that point, right? Start to speak to them and address them from that place, because that's, again, where you're going to start to attract a more highly motivated individual who's ready to make changes and ready to invest in making those changes in their life. So to help you out, I've created a free little worksheet to help you brainstorm what those your ideal client desire points are. I've included that for you in the description here. So I've got the link to that in the description, so you can go snag that and fill that out and brainstorm those ideas, and then start to incorporate that into your content. Start to make that shift in your messaging. And I promise you, this is such a game-changing approach to messaging that you will quickly start to see the difference in the kind of people you're attracting and their readiness and their willingness to invest in making change in their life. And again, getting that support and being willing to pay for that support, right? So I want you to go out there, I want you to try that, and then come back to this video and leave me a comment and let me know how it's working for you. So I hope this was helpful for you, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.